Fake it till you make it, the mantra that launched 1,000 startups. But sometimes faking it teeters dangerously close to fraud. Just ask Elizabeth Holmes, who tried to fake it with a tiny blood test. And let's not forget Bernie Madoff, the king of faking it, who made it all the way to jail. While this Silicon Valley maxim has its merits, it can lead to some wild outcomes that stretch far beyond the tech world.
While fake it till you make it might sound like fun, what happens when you put it to the test in real-world scenarios? Can it help you landing that big investor? Or will it just leave you scrambling to cover your tracks? We ask the experts.
1. Fake it till you make it sounds nice because it rhymes and the concept can be communicated very quickly and crisply, but it can be misunderstood. You know, that fake it till you make it can be misunderstood. Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos or Sam Bankman and FTX. Both of them were faking it until they made it, and they were frauds, and they were massive frauds. And that happens all the way up and down the stack, and a lot of fraud gets attributed to fake it till you make it. I think what the essence of that mantra is, hand crank it till you make it. And so for us at GreenPal, we faked it till we made it for a very long time. And so somebody would sign up for the platform, sign up on the service, and they needed a lawn mowing today. And so for the consumer, that experience needs to be magical. And it just needs to be, I put my address in, I got a quote, I hired somebody, they come and mow it today. And then, so the fake it till you make it was my two co-founders and I getting the requests and just calling all over town and saying, hey, can you mow Mrs. Smith on Main Street today? No? Okay. Can you take care of this lawn today? We got to have it done today. No? Okay. And so we are hand cranking and faking the experience behind the curtain, behind the scenes. And so for the consumer, all they see is magic. And for us, we're like a duck on water where we're calm above the surface, and then below the surface, we're like frantically trying to fulfill this request. And then as we did that thousands of times for years. And then through the course of doing that, we then said, okay, what is the one piece of this process that we're faking, that we're spoofing, that we can build a system for? Well, we're calling all of these services. We can build a quoting system for that. Okay, all right. Well, and now we can build a scheduling system. Now we can build a review system. Now we can build a logistics system. Now we can build a payment system. And so we began building all of the little pieces to make that process happen smooth and automated. And so now, fast forward 10 years later, millions of transactions are going through the platform that we're not calling all over town and organizing with spreadsheets, obviously. And so I think fake it till you make it should be rebranded as hand crank it until you make it, but it just doesn't sound as good. So we'll stick with fake it till you make it, I guess.
2.
I think that there is a certain level of honesty that is needed. It really depends on the situation. When you're dealing with yourself, absolutely, fake it till you make it all day long. But if you're dealing with clients and deliverables and fee structures and things like that, you really need to be honest about your skill level. There have been several times in my working career where I've already been working with a client and they wanted to add something to their lineup of things that they're doing. And they have specifically asked me, is this something that you can take on versus hiring someone else to do it? And I think in those cases, fake it till you make it needs a bit of honesty. So you might tell the client, well, I've not done that before, but I am more than happy and willing to learn, and we can do some extra revisions or initial work before we launch. Or you can go to a mentor and say, hey, I've been asked to do this. Can you please guide me and instruct me so that I can learn how to do this fairly quickly?
3.
I think fake it till you make it is really a statement about confidence and how can you put yourself out there when maybe you haven't done something before, but you're trying to act like you have. Everybody's got to handle that differently. I'm not going to feel authentic if I do it that way. So I'm just going to tell you straight up, here's what I've done. If I haven't done something, I'm going to tell you that, but I'm also going to tell you with what you've expressed to me that you're looking for, if I have experience with that or not. If I don't, I'll help find you somebody who does. I don't really struggle with that because I do think I don't want to play the pretend game. And so for me, it's really more about being authentic and meeting your needs and making sure I'm a fit with that. Because if I'm not, I'm doing you an injustice as a client, and I'd much rather find somebody who is a fit. But if I'm a fit, I'll fight for that every day. So I think confidence is what people really struggle with. I am confident in what I know, and I'm also willing to tell you what I don't know. And an example of that would be, I had a call yesterday with someone who owns a $100 million company and is having some people problems. And so I made it very clear to him that my background is not running $100 million companies. I have no experience with that. But that's not what he's asking me for. He needs help with his people, and that is what I do. And so I think being there's no faking for me in that. I'm not going to act like I know what a $100 million company feels like or looks like. I've never been there or done that. And I was very clear with that. But I said, what I do know is the people stuff. And that's what you're having problems with. And that's what you're asking me to help you solve. And I'm very confident in that.
4,
Fake it until you make it is beyond true. There's imposter syndrome, right? This idea that, holy smokes, what am I doing here? Does anybody realize that I'm just a schmo? And so everybody thinks that. We all think that. Like, the fact of the matter is, whether you're the most gifted leader in the world or the newest entrepreneur that has ever started a business, there's insecurity in all of us. And what I have found is that the best way to combat insecurity, those demons that are speaking in your ear that you don't deserve to be here, is to just be selfless and care about the other person. To the extent that you can invest yourself in the person across the table, the person in the seat next to you on the plane, the person across the aisle, invest yourself in their life. Be inquisitive about their story.
The Best of Business show is brought to you by the BASA Awards. The BASA Awards exist to recognize, reward, and promote exceptional small businesses. We run 4 award programs: Best of America, Best of Australia, Best of Canada, Best of UK. Remember, it's strictly for small businesses only. Nominate your business today.